Our MC woke up and was completely shocked and bewildered when he looked at his hands. He had turned into a mushroom monster. He stood there dumbfounded before yelling again after seeing his reflection in the muddy water. Just a while ago, he had been having fun with a girl, but now he thought that maybe he had jerked himself to death and got reincarnated as a mushroom monster. He shouted out loud, "How am I supposed to pick up girls looking like this? I want my handsome face back." Suddenly, somebody called out to him. He looked back and, at first, thought it was a beautiful girl calling him Brother Xingbao. But after looking more carefully, he realized it was another mushroom, a female mushroom, calling him brother and asking why he was saying such weird things today. "So I was just horny," the MC thought. He asked her, "What do I usually say then?" She replied, "We mushroom men usually only say one thing. Intruders. Kill them." He was left dumbfounded. Just then, he heard the same words coming from behind him. Intruders. Two players had entered the dungeon, a level 1 orc archer and a level 1 orc warrior. They were here to hunt monsters. The level 1 little shrooms immediately lunged at them, but they were all cut down in a single strike. The orc warrior said to his companion, "These guys are just for fun. They're way too easy. We can speedrun this dungeon again today." And just like that, they began slaughtering every mushroom monster inside the cave. From the back, our little MC and his companion watched everything unfold. He asked her, "Why do you mushroom men just charge straight at them? Don't you know you're supposed to run away if you can't beat them?" She answered, "We mushroom men are NPCs. Everything we do is programmed. We're not as free as players." He frowned. "Wait, those two orcs are players? I thought players were usually humans." She replied, "I'm just an NPC with a few extra lines of exposition. That's all I know." At that moment, an arrow came flying toward them. They immediately started running. The little mushroom told him, "Running away isn't an option in our mushroom man programming." But the MC refused to die there. He reached out his hand and said, "Take my hand." The moment she grabbed it, warning messages began appearing. Data anomaly detected. Warning. But he didn't care. He ignored the warnings and said, "Programming or not, surviving comes first." He pulled her along and forced her to run. Watching this, the two players were completely astonished. "How does a mushroom man know how to run away?" one of them asked. "This has to be some kind of bug. We should file a report to the admin once we get out." The other replied, "Bug or not, we can't let these two little shrooms escape." After running for a while, the two mushroom men came across a treasure chest. The MC immediately wanted to open it, thinking they might find a weapon inside. But the female mushroom stopped him. "Those treasure chests are designed exclusively for players. We mushroom men can't open them." The MC ignored her and reached for the chest anyway. The warning messages appeared once again, but he didn't care. He opened the chest. His eyes widened. "There are so many good items in here." Just then, another arrow came flying toward them. The little mushroom noticed it immediately. She thought to herself, "Why did I choose to do this? Mushroom men weren't programmed to protect their teammates." But she didn't care. She wouldn't let anyone hurt Brother Xingbao. She jumped in front of him and was struck by the arrow. At the same time, another arrow flew straight toward the MC. This time, however, he was ready. Drawing his weapon, he slashed the arrow cleanly in half. Seeing this, the orc archer was completely stunned. How did the lowest level mushroom monster deflect my arrow, and even open a treasure chest that only players can access? She frowned. "This bug is way bigger than I thought." Outside the dungeon, the orc player reported the bugs he had discovered to the administrator. He complained, asking why there were still bugs even though the dungeons had been running for such a long time. The administrator, wrapped in a dark cloak with his face completely hidden, replied, "It is precisely because the dungeons have been running for so long that oversights during maintenance are inevitable. It's only natural for various little bugs to appear." It was then revealed that after defeating the human coalition, the Great Lich feared that the heroes would become troublesome with nothing left to do. So he designed the dungeon system as entertainment for them. Since then, the heroes entered the dungeons as players to grind monsters, farm resources, and level up to kill their boredom. Whenever players discovered a bug, they simply reported it to the necromancers, the administrators, and waited for them to fix it. Back inside the dungeon, the orc archer prepared to fire another arrow. But our little mushroom MC was fast enough to slash it cleanly in half. He was surprised. "Even though I have the body of a mushroom man, my agility is actually pretty high." Another barrage of arrows came flying toward him. One after another, he sliced every single arrow out of the air with incredible precision. He quickly looked around. "I can't keep chasing them forever with these tiny little legs. I need something to block those arrows while I close the distance." His eyes landed on the treasure chest. Without hesitation, he sliced off the lid of the chest and used it as a shield. The incoming arrows bounced right off it. Seeing this, the orc archer was completely shocked. How does a mushroom man know how to use a treasure chest lid as a shield? These actions, they're exactly like a player's. Using the shield as cover, the mushroom man rapidly closed the distance. Before the orc archer could react, slash, he cut the player cleanly in half. Immediately, a system notification appeared. "Congratulations. First blood achieved. You have unlocked the Mushroom Man racial talent, mycelial network. This ability allows him to connect with his minions through a mycelial network, transmitting information and spores while sharing their skills and experience. The system continued. You have unlocked the Mushroom Man racial talent, plant mushroom. This ability allows him to plant himself on corpses or any nutrient-rich location to absorb nutrients and restore HP. After completely absorbing the corpse, he can also inherit the enemy's class and skills. Another notification appeared. You have unlocked Shroom Form Switch. This ability allows him to freely switch between his Mushroom Man form and a reshaped humanoid form. Seeing all these notifications, he wasn't surprised anymore. I've already been reincarnated as a Mushroom Man. Having a system at this point isn't even that shocking. Without wasting any time, he activated Plant Mushroom. He placed his feet on the corpse of the recently slain orc archer. Immediately, nutrients and skills began flowing into his body. As he absorbed everything, he couldn't help but feel refreshed. This actually feels pretty good. But then he suddenly remembered something. He quickly turned around. The female mushroom. She had taken an arrow to protect him. She saved me, now it's my turn to save her. He activated Plant Mushroom once again. Instead of keeping all the newly acquired stats for himself, he transferred the orc archer's abilities to the female mushroom. A bright light surrounded her. Slowly, her body began to transform. The tiny mushroom girl evolved into a stunning young woman. She had become a level 2 Mushroom Man archer. Her class? Archer. The moment our little mushroom MC saw just how beautiful she had become, his nose immediately started bleeding. The newly evolved girl bowed respectfully. Chief, please give me a name. A system notification also appeared. Please assign a name to your subordinate. He thought for a moment before smiling. From now on, your name is Sypha. She happily accepted the name. Then she asked, Chief, which dungeon instance are we clearing next? He shook his head. No. Don't forget who we are. We're monsters. We're NPCs. Our first priority is to kill the remaining player. A sinister grin slowly appeared on his face. Meanwhile, the surviving orc warrior had returned. He was furious after discovering that his teammate, Labu, had been killed by a monster. There's no way a level 1 Mushroom Man could do something like this. It has to be a rare elite. Instead of being afraid, he became excited. Rare elite monsters always dropped incredible loot. If I'm lucky enough to get a blue-grade weapon, I'll make a fortune. Without another thought, he activated his skill. Orc Charge. He rushed straight toward the Mushroom Man. But our little MC calmly sidestepped the attack and countered with a slash of his blade. After exchanging blows, he frowned. This warrior is much tougher than that archer. That slash barely dealt any damage. The orc warrior was furious. He couldn't believe he was actually being humiliated by a mere Mushroom Man. Our little MC immediately turned around and ran into another room before slamming the stone door shut behind him. The enraged orc charged forward and smashed the door into pieces. Inside, he saw a narrow bridge stretching across a pool of water. At the opposite end stood the Mushroom Man, silently staring at him. Then, the Mushroom Man slowly raised his hand and showed him the middle finger. The orc warrior completely lost his temper. With a furious roar, he charged across the bridge. The moment he reached the middle, crack! The bridge collapsed beneath his feet. He plunged straight into the water below. You damn mushroom, he shouted. You actually set up an ambush. Our little MC looked down at him with a smug smile. Your movement is restricted in water. He immediately threw his blade. It struck the orc's shoulder. The damage wasn't enough to kill him. But that attack was never meant to finish him off. A second later. Whoosh! An arrow shot through the air. Thud! It pierced straight through the orc warrior's neck. His body went limp. The remaining player was dead. The killing blow came from Sypha, using the orc archer abilities she had just acquired. Afterward, they dragged the orc warrior's corpse over to the MC. Our little MC immediately activated Plant Mushroom and began absorbing the warrior's power. As the nutrients flowed into his body, his appearance slowly began to change. His mushroom body gradually reshaped itself until he finally returned to the human appearance he had before his reincarnation. Sypha looked at him curiously. Chief, what's that thing swinging down there? The MC was completely shocked. She saw something inappropriate? He hurriedly looked down in embarrassment, only to realize she was talking about the handle of the axe hanging from his waist. He let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. I thought I forgot to wear clothes and was walking around with my bare butt hanging out. He then opened his status panel. Name, Yang Jun. Race, Mushroom Man. Rank, Chief. Level, 2. Besides leveling up, he had also obtained a magic pouch as loot. He then asked Sypha, how do we get out of here? She replied, this is the bottom floor of the mushroom dungeon. If we want to leave, we'll have to fight our way up, one floor at a time. He asked another question. Then why were those level 1 players able to come straight down here? Sypha explained, players have special privileges. They can choose to enter the lowest floor of a dungeon directly. Yang Jun looked at her curiously. How do you know all this? She smiled. I overheard the players chatting back when I was still an NPC. Looking toward the path leading upward, Yang Jun clenched his fist. Looks like we'll have to fight our way through every floor. With that, the two of them began climbing toward the upper levels. When they reached a fork in the road, Sypha pointed in two different directions. The path on the left leads to the level 1 slime floor. The one on the right leads to the graveyard. Yang Jun thought for a moment before making his decision. You go to the slime floor and grind some experience. I'll go take a look around the graveyard. He wanted to turn that graveyard into his own territory in the future. As he walked deeper inside, a powerful smell suddenly assaulted his nose. Even from a distance, it was overwhelming. The stench of garbage. And countless corpses. Looking up, he noticed a large opening above. People had been dumping trash and dead bodies down there for years. Although most of the nutrients had long since faded, there were still enough remaining for him to absorb. Without hesitation, he activated plant mushroom. The surrounding nutrients quickly gathered together. Moments later, a brand new mushroom man was born. Level 2 pyro mushroom. Its specialty: fire. Yang Jun nodded in satisfaction. It looks pretty imposing, although it's a little small. Suddenly, a flash of lightning shot toward him. Yang Jun instinctively dodged. Boom! The lightning struck the ground where he had been standing only a moment earlier. He quickly turned to look. Standing before him was a level 2 graveyard dominator, lightning snail. Yang Jun narrowed his eyes. So this is the monster occupying this place. It's basically competing with mushroom men for the same territory. Without hesitation, he pointed toward the lightning snail. Pyro mushroom. Go prove your worth. The little pyro mushroom immediately obeyed. It raised both hands. Pyro blast. A blazing fireball shot toward the snail. The lightning snail responded with a surge of electricity, blocking the flames before instantly dodging aside. Then it counterattacked with another bolt of lightning. The two monsters immediately engaged in an intense battle. After several exchanges, the lightning snail appeared to be badly injured. Yang Jun relaxed. It should be finished. The pyro mushroom proudly turned toward him, waiting to be praised. But Yang Jun frowned. Stop fooling around. Go make sure it's actually dead. The pyro mushroom nodded and slowly approached the fallen snail. Then, slash. Its head flew clean off its body. The lightning snail had abandoned its shell. Without the heavy shell weighing it down, it had become unbelievably fast. Yang Jun's expression immediately changed. He charged forward himself. But the snail effortlessly dodged every attack. The two exchanged blows at incredible speed. The lightning snail even mocked him while darting around. Ha ha ha. You're even slower than a snail. Yang Jun gritted his teeth. No matter how hard he tried, he simply couldn't catch it. Then suddenly, a massive wave of fire erupted from behind him. The lightning snail easily dodged the flames once again and burst into laughter. Ha ha ha. You still can't hit me. It mocked Yang Jun relentlessly. Our speeds aren't even on the same level. You completely missed. However, Yang Jun remained perfectly calm. He looked at the snail and smiled. I didn't miss. I wasn't aiming at you in the first place. The lightning snail's expression suddenly changed. A loud rumble echoed throughout the cave. The ceiling above began to crack. Yang Jun had aimed his attack at the cave ceiling to trigger a cave-in. Huge rocks started crashing down all around them. The lightning snail immediately began dodging the falling boulders. Its attention was completely occupied. At that moment, the smoke created by the pyro mushroom spread throughout the battlefield, covering everything. Using the thick smoke as concealment, Yang Jun silently charged forward. The lightning snail couldn't sense him until it was too late. Bang! Yang Jun struck it from behind with a surprise attack. The lightning snail was knocked unconscious in a single blow. Without giving it another chance to escape, Yang Jun finished it off. The battle ended instantly. He immediately activated plant mushroom and absorbed the lightning snail's nutrients. A system notification appeared. Level up. Level 3 reached. Using his newly gained nutrients, Yang Jun planted another mushroom man. A new soldier emerged. Level 3 volt shroom. Its specialty: lightning. Now, Yang Jun had a level 2 pyro shroom and a level 3 volt shroom under his command. He looked around the graveyard. Clean this place up as quickly as possible. This will become the mushroom men's base camp. As the two shroom soldiers immediately got to work, Yang Jun wondered. I wonder how Sypha is doing over there. Did she run into a troublesome enemy? Meanwhile, inside the slime floor, Sypha had already defeated countless mini slimes with her bow. Now, standing before her was the dungeon boss. Level 2 Slime King. The Slime King looked at her carefully. I've seen you before. Before he could finish speaking, whoosh, an arrow pierced straight through his body. The Slime King immediately counterattacked with a massive punch. But Sypha effortlessly dodged and fired another arrow. The Slime King laughed. Ha ha ha, poking a few holes in me is useless. My body is highly malleable. At most, your arrows only make me lose a little bodily fluid. As long as I keep absorbing moisture from the ground, physical attacks are completely useless against me. He raised his giant fist once more. Now die. Just as his fist was about to land. Boom! His arms suddenly burst apart. The Slime King froze. His entire body began swelling strangely. Moments later, mushrooms started growing all over him. The Slime King looked at himself in horror. He quickly realized what had happened. The groundwater beneath his feet had already been completely drained by the mushroom spores. Without moisture, his body rapidly weakened. The parasitic mushrooms spread throughout his entire body. Then another arrow flew toward him. This time, the arrow carried parasitic spores. The Slime King's eyes widened. So, the spores were attached to the arrowheads from the very beginning. As his consciousness faded, he finally remembered. You're that pink-capped mushroom man. With those final words, the Slime King died. Sypha calmly collected the loot dropped by the Slime King. Among it was a minotaur horn, which she stored inside the magic pouch. She then absorbed the Slime King's remaining nutrients. A system notification appeared. Level up. She had reached level 4. A short while later, Sypha arrived at the graveyard. Looking around, she smiled. I originally planned to come help you after clearing the slime floor. I didn't expect the 2 newly planted shroom soldiers to have almost finished cleaning everything. Yang Jun smiled. It's fine. The area isn't that big to begin with. His eyes then fell on the minotaur horn Sypha had obtained. This is excellent crafting material. The only problem is, we don't have a craftsman capable of forging weapons. Sypha immediately suggested, should we go catch one? Yang Jun nodded. Good idea. Let's see if there are any nearby players or corpses with the craftsman class. Immediately, he activated mycelial network. The fungal network spread rapidly beneath the entire graveyard. As the network expanded farther and farther, Yang Jun sensed a group of players fighting nearby. Outside the graveyard, a dwarf craftsman was surrounded by several orcs. The orcs wanted him to forge weapons exclusively for them. One of them sneered. Become our slave and forge our weapons. The dwarf coldly rejected the offer. My clansmen are proud craftsmen. We would rather die than work for the likes of you. The orcs' expressions darkened. So you chose death. One of them immediately raised his weapon and charged toward the dwarf. The dwarf blacksmith was ultimately killed by the trolls. Our little MC had arrived just a little too late to save him. Sypha noticed him staring into the distance and asked, "What are you looking at?" Yang Jun replied, "If you extend your mycelium and connect to the mycelial network, you'll be able to see what I see." She did as instructed. Soon, both of them were sharing the same vision through the network. Yang Jun sighed. I couldn't save him while he was alive. But I can still save him after death. It's just another way of continuing to live. He immediately released countless spores through the mycelial network. The spores quickly gathered around the dwarf's corpse. Moments later, a brand new mushroom man was born. Level 4 pyro mushroom, dwarf blacksmith. The newly awakened dwarf slowly opened his eyes. He looked around in confusion. How am I still alive? Yang Jun smiled. I resurrected you. You've become one of my mushroom soldiers. From now on, your name is Firehammer. The dwarf looked at his new body before quietly nodding. I understand. Yang Jun then gave his first order. Track down those trolls. Meanwhile, somewhere inside the cave, the trolls were chatting as they walked. One of them complained, if all those dwarves would just die from exhaustion, we wouldn't have to spend years capturing more of them. Another troll laughed. Are you an idiot? If they all died, we'd just head into the dungeon and capture the survivors. Dwarves aren't extinct yet. There are always a few hiding somewhere in these dungeons. The group consisted of a level 2 troll player and a level 3 troll underboss, along with several other trolls. Suddenly, one of them stopped walking. Huh? Why is there a mushroom man here? Isn't the mushroom man territory next door? Another troll shrugged. It's probably just a wandering elite monster. Looks like today is our lucky day. I didn't expect to run into free loot. Without another word, he hurled his axe toward Firehammer. Clang! Firehammer calmly blocked the axe with his hammer. Then, he threw his hammer. Boom! The first troll died instantly. The remaining troll barely managed to dodge. But the hammer suddenly turned around in midair, locked onto him, and smashed straight through his body. The troll stared in horror. It can automatically track enemies. This isn't an ordinary monster. It's a level 3 elite monster with high-grade equipment. The enchanted hammer immediately flew toward another troll. This time, the troll barely blocked it with his club. But Firehammer wasn't finished. He suddenly leaped into the air. Using his fungal threads, he grabbed onto the troll's arm. Mycelial ignition. Boom! The troll's entire arm exploded. Before anyone could react, Firehammer caught his returning hammer and crushed another troll's skull with a single swing. Then he turned toward the wooden support pillars holding up the cave. One powerful swing. Crack! The pillars shattered. The cave ceiling began collapsing. Firehammer immediately ignited the falling debris. The flaming boulders rained down like meteors. The remaining trolls were buried beneath the blazing cave-in. Not a single one survived. With that, Firehammer had avenged his own death. A system notification appeared. Level up. Firehammer had reached level 5. Watching through the mycelial network, Yang Jun smiled. Good work. I'll send you my coordinates. Come meet us. Firehammer nodded before asking. Chief, were you a human? Yang Jun smiled. The reshaped form of a mushroom man is influenced by the race they belonged to before they died. I was human before I became a mushroom man. So my reshaped appearance is human. He pointed toward Sypha. She was also human before she was turned into a mushroom man by the Archmage. So her reshaped form is human as well. By the same logic, you still resemble a dwarf. Firehammer nodded in understanding. Yang Jun then took out the Minotaur horn and handed it to him. Can you forge a weapon using this? Firehammer carefully examined the horn. This is excellent material. I can definitely make something with it. But, I'll need a few more materials first. Yang Jun smiled and looked toward the massive opening above the graveyard. Don't worry. This graveyard receives plenty of materials every day. They should be arriving shortly. As if on cue, new corpses, broken weapons, monster bones, and various pieces of discarded equipment began raining down from the opening above. Firehammer looked up with sparkling eyes. They now had all the materials they needed to begin forging weapons.